So, as you look at the European economy today, what would you say its single biggest challenge is, and what would you say its single biggest opportunity is?
I think the single biggest challenge always is to deliver, is to implement. There are lots of good intentions, but implementation sometimes is hard. I think the second difficult area that will need to be tackled is this issue of inequality, because COVID-19 has aggravated inequalities. The third one is climate change, where we will have to transition probably faster than we think, which will imply a transition cost, which will imply a change in the overall structure of our economies. I would say those three: implementation, inequality, and climate change.
And what has been the impact on the European Central Bank or the European economy, if any, on Brexit? Has it been as bad as some people predicted, or been better than people thought? What would you say?
I think the conclusion varies depending on which side of the channel you're on. From our perspective, it's a sad development, and we certainly have lost the benefit of excellent cooperation with the Bank of England. We try to continue to maintain a good relationship because we have lots of links between us. But in terms of trade, it has been certainly a loss for the UK, more so than for Europe. And we'll see how it goes. All I can say is at this point in time, Europe is coming out of the crisis not with flying colors yet, because a lot of work needs to be done, but strongly than we had expected. I think the UK is having a more difficult time at the moment.
Now, part of the way you helped deal with the situation in Europe during COVID was that you had the package that you referred to, a very large package, financial stability package, but that package really involves countries borrowing money against their own abilities to pay it back. You are in effect not a guarantor, but you are making certain that they probably won't default. But are you worried about too much debt among European countries, too much debt in France or Germany or Italy, or is that not a big problem right now?
I think all countries around the world increased and had to increase their debt relative to GDP. And when you had this high debt increase and a big fall in GDP, of course, you end up with those ratios that look higher and are higher than what they experienced before. But there was no option and no choice but to do that. Had it not happened, I think the story of the pandemic would have been a lot worse than what we've seen. So now it's a question of directing the financing to the right investment, making sure that the economies are going to bounce back in the right shape with the right structural reforms that will improve the productivity of those economies, that will position them to be more digital and to be greener. And I believe that this next generation EU, which was voted a year ago now, is going to help with making countries better converge and reduce the gap that existed between some of the southern European countries and the northern European countries. That is certainly the intention.